Hi guys! So this week on Channel 1 we are talking about weaning, all things weaning, and I thought it might be a good opportunity for me to talk a little bit about what we did with Billy and kind of what sort of an eater he is now and what kind of things he eats. So I was kind of torn between baby-led weaning and purees, like traditional kind of weaning. The whole breastfeeding community I found were more kind of trying to get me to do baby-led weaning and kind of delaying weaning him in general and just doing finger foods and not purees and stuff, and that there's supposedly a lot of kind of research that says that baby-led weaning leads to kind of children who have less fussy eating and stuff. So I was tempted, but then nobody in my family had ever done it before, and in the end I think I just went with my gut feeling and I done a bit of both. So I done purees, and I made all the purees myself, and I got all the little pots and kind of made the little ice cube portions of butternut squash and sweet potato and broccoli and all sorts of things. And then a few weeks into it, when he started to get the hang of it, I started to introduce finger foods, and then since then we've probably been more baby-led weaning. But like Billy's 2.5 now, 2 3/4 really, and I still spoon feed him sometimes, and the reason I do that is not because he won't eat the food, but because if I spoon feed him, he will eat more. So if I know he's hungry but he's distracted and he's watching telly and he's playing with his toys, and he'll say, "Oh, I don't like that," and I'll say, "You do like that, that's one of your favourite dinners." If I spoon feed him, as he's playing, as he's pottering about, he'll eat more. But if it's something like, say it was like pizza or something, you know, like chips or something you can eat with your hands, even carrot batons, I just let him do that himself. But if it's anything kind of saucy, I find I have to spoon feed him. Like even if I make spaghetti bolognese, I find I kind of spoon the meat and the sauce into his mouth so that that part's out of the way, and then I give him the pasta and he just does his own thing with the pasta. But it's the meat kind of sauce that has all the veg in it, so that's what I really want him to have. So he obviously eats sandwiches and fruit and all that himself, but for saucy dinners and soup and that kind of thing, I spoon feed him. And another reason for that is because we live in a granny flat, so like this is my like kitchen and my living area, and we don't have a kitchen table and we don't have a high chair anymore, so we just don't have the space for either of those things. So he usually has his dinner right there behind me or over there on the couch, and that's just the way it is in our crib at the moment. People always say to me, Billy's a really good eater, and he is in comparison to some other toddlers. I didn't realise he was until I kind of spoke to people and went on play dates and stuff and realised, God, he actually is really good. But I don't really know why that is. I think a big part of it is to do with the fact that I joined Slimming World around the time I started weaning him. So I would have went from jars of food and kind of a lot of processed food to home cooking, making all my sauces from scratch, pretty much making everything from scratch. And it kind of went hand in hand with sort of nourishing him and giving him the best start in life and kind of re-nourishing ourselves and kind of treating ourselves better than we had been for a couple of years in terms of what we were eating. So it was a lovely kind of timing thing. So pasta sauces and curries and risottos and all that stuff is always from scratch. It's always like I couldn't have a dinner without veg, because with Slimming World you kind of have to have 1/3 veg on your plate. So the same with Billy. Now peppers and mushrooms and all that kind of stuff he doesn't like. If I give him a pepper and then put it in his mouth, he'll go, ugh. He doesn't like it. He loves like raw cherry tomatoes, he loves cooked carrots, he loves cooked cauliflower, he loves broccoli. But mushrooms and peppers and onions are something I put in a lot of foods. So I find if I'm making a spaghetti bolognese or something, if I cook it in the slow cooker, they go so tiny that he doesn't even notice. So every spoonful I give him has peppers and mushrooms and onions in it, and he doesn't even notice. And garlic, obviously, I put in a lot of stuff, and that's really, really good for you. But yeah, I suppose what I wanted to say was I kind of have the 80-20 rule when it comes to Billy. How he eats and what he eats is really important to me, because I don't want him to grow up being overweight the way I was, and comfort eating and secret eating the way I did. I want him to have a healthy relationship with food. It's really important to me. But in the last few months I've had to relax a bit about treats, because they're everywhere. They're even in his play school, they're at parties, they're when we go to visit friends and family, and I don't want him to like be the kid at the party that like has to fill his bag and stuff his face so much with sweets because he doesn't get them at home. So I adopted the 80-20 rule. If his diet is like 80% healthy, I don't mind if he has a few treats, and I don't mind if he has a treat every single day. It might be a couple of chocolate buttons, it might be a biscuit, it might be 2 squares of chocolate. If he's having healthy breakfast, lunch and dinner, and we're getting out and we're getting exercise and running around, that's fine by me, because the way I see it, I sit down in the evenings and I have a cup of tea and a bit of chocolate and I look forward to it all day long. So I think it's part of life, it's part of modern life. It's not something I want to hide from him, but I want him to have a healthy relationship with the idea of a treat. So he understands that a treat is a small treat once a day, not several times during the day, and also that he kind of has to have his other meals and eat healthily to have that treat. So if he's asking for a treat, I'll say, oh, when you finish your dinner you can have a treat. But also, I also like to give him treats earlier in the day, so I don't like giving him treats after dinner because I think it's just too close to his bedtime, and he's not a sleeper, so I don't need any encouragement in that department. So I usually give him a treat after lunch, because usually after lunch we're heading somewhere in the car or the buggy, and it's a bit of bribery as well, so it might make it easier to get him into the buggy and get the straps on if he knows he's having a little treat. So it does have its advantages. But I just made a little montage of kind of stuff we ate this week, just to give you an idea of what my toddler eats. And I guess to show you that if you do a combination of puree and baby-led weaning, or just go with your gut feeling, you could very well have a child that's not too fussy. And as I said, Billy's not a sleeper, so I had to get something. But I'm really, really proud of the way he eats, and I do hope it continues. He's getting to the stage now where, like, we live with my cousin who's 4, and he heard her one day saying ew, so now he keeps saying ew to certain foods, and he's saying, I don't like that. And I'm like, you do like that. But he might say I don't like that 8 times, but he might eat the whole plate of dinner. So, you know, perseverance, there's a lot to be said for it as well. So dinner tonight is homemade burgers and chips, cinnamon roll recipe, so it's extra lean mince. I use some of this, which I love, which is the garlic Italian from Schwartz. It's really, really tasty. I use this in so many different things. I don't know if that's focusing. There you go. So I use this in so many different things. It's so tasty. And then I also put in some salt, pepper, and a bit of soy sauce, which sounds weird, but it's really nice in burgers. I have my chips chipped. I'm just going to stick them in the microwave for a few minutes or parboil them, and then put them into the air fryer. And then this is what I'm going to use for buns. So I'm actually making sliders, as you may have noticed, and for reference, they're little mini burgers. So Peter's going to have one of these cut into 2 for 2 sliders, and he's just going to have an extra little burger on the side. And then myself and Billy are going to share one of these. Another thing I like to do is have a box of chopped up melon ready in the fridge. A melon is quite cheap, like this is $1.69 I think in Aldi, and you get a lot out of it. So I've already had a big bowl of melon this morning for my breakfast. So what I do is, my tip is, don't eat the melon until it's been purchased about 3 or 4 days at least, because after 3 or 4 days it goes really sweet and moist and soft, and in my experience toddlers enjoy it a lot more that way rather than when it's kind of more hard and tough. So this has been, actually, we bought this 5 or 6 days ago, and it is like the nicest melon I've ever had. So I chop it up, stick it in a lunchbox in the fridge, and then it's there handy for snacking for myself and for Billy, and I can easily put this in a little mini lunchbox for his play school. I just find it really handy because we love berries in this house, but they just don't last long in more ways than one. Like, their expiry date is pretty I don't know, not very forgiving, and then the packets are small and then they're gone within a day or 2, whereas I find a big melon like this will stay in the fridge for 2 or 3 days, and we all benefit from it. So there's a little tip. A really, really handy lunch option is a homemade soup. Today I have a turnip, 2 carrots, an onion, some soup mix, which is that kind of barley mix. It has barley, peas, lentils and that kind of thing in it, and some black pepper, and I'm going to saute the veg for 5 minutes. Then I'm going to fill it up with some vegetable or chicken stock, depending what I have, probably vegetable because it's vegetable soup. And then I'm going to put the lid on it and let it simmer for half an hour and blitz it. And that will be healthy, hearty soup for myself and the little man for lunch today and tomorrow. And it's just really handy to have it there for lunches, because I'm less likely to kind of give him something that's kind of quick and snacky, because he has that stuff throughout the day anyway. So at least I know if he's had a big bowl of vegetables. So I'm just going to pop it onto the cooker. Okay, so it is Monday morning. I am making dinner for this evening, and I'm making it in the slow cooker, which I use all the time. And this is an example of a dinner that I will eat, my husband will eat, and our toddler will eat too. So this is definitely included in what my toddler eats. And this is the slow cooker chicken curry. So in here I have chicken fillets, which I have kept chunky, because when you're slow cooking chicken sometimes it falls apart, so it's easier to leave it in bigger portions. Some mushrooms, peppers, a chopped onion, garlic, tin of chopped tomatoes, and then I'm going to add in some stock and some curry powder now. Now curry is going to be spicy, but what I like to do is make it on the milder side and then take Billy's portion out before
I add more curry powder at the end, and then I mix Billy's portion of curry with some natural Greek yogurt, and it makes it like really kind of like thick and creamy and less spicy. And then I mix his up with his rice, and it's kind of like a curry, spicy, sweet rice dish. But yeah, I don't like to make him a different dinner to us. He doesn't like love peppers or mushrooms or anything like that. So what I do is when I put his portion in a bowl, I usually get a scissors and just chop it all up so that everything in his bowl is really small. I tend to spoon feed him like 70% of it to make sure it actually goes in his gob, and every spoonful will have a bit of veg in it as well. So, and the good thing about a recipe like this is because you're not using a jar, it's got chopped tomatoes and everything in it, so the sauce itself is pretty healthy. There is stock in it, so there's some salt in that, but in general this dish is a healthy family dinner, and it's something that hopefully my little man will enjoy. We'll see soon. So we're going to end our little vlog series here of what my toddler eats. This is a day where I had nothing prepared and we had a little bit more time in the morning. Billy, what are we having for breakfast? Porridge. And what's in it? Honey, banana, and what else? What did we shake in? Some cinnamon. So I made the porridge with water in the microwave because if I'm making it for more than one, I'll make it in a pot. Oh, careful, that's mommy's tripod. But I made it with water, and then I added some cinnamon, half a mashed up banana, and some honey, which Billy liked to do himself, and then a dash of milk. And is it your favourite breakfast?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is an example of a breakfast I would give Billy during the week or at the weekend, but this is pretty much a midweek breakfast when we're rushing around, trying to get out the door to play school, and I want to make sure he's had something healthy and nutritious, but something that doesn't take too much time. So I make these pretty much every single week in different variations. They are basically like banana OT muffins, but I make them with different fruits, different kind of flavorings, and they literally take 2 minutes to make. These ones are made with a mashed banana, a chopped up pear, a cup of oats, a banana, some cinnamon, bit of baking powder, bit of honey, and then I put them in the little silicone molds like the muffin tray. And when they're in there, I literally popped in half a blackberry in each one and kind of covered it with the mixture. Sometimes I put blueberries in, and it makes 6 of these really, really yummy, I call them kind of like oaty breakfast bites. They're absolutely amazing because each one of these has some banana, some pear, some blackberry, some cinnamon, which I think is a lovely kind of breakfasty flavouring. The blackberry worked really, really well because it went kind of jammy inside, so I think he's going to love that because it's going to be like jam, which he loves. And then it's full of oats, and the thing about oats are they're filling. So I feel like if we're running out the door and we're in a rush, or he needs to eat something in the car, or he's eating away as I'm dressing him and it's one of those mornings, these are a great way of getting something nutritious into him, and oats are really filling. So I feel a lot better when he's had something like this. So I've gotten into the habit of making these once a week with whatever fruit I have lying around, and this is just what I had in the house this morning. The mixture made 6. I will leave the recipe down below in the description box. This made 6, so what I do is I keep 3 for this week, so I'll give him say 1 tomorrow, 1 on Wednesday, 1 on Thursday, and then I'm freezing the other 3. So I put them in the freezer, and then next week I have them as well, which is so handy. Then some mornings he has Cheerios or toast, and then there's mornings where we're rushing out the door, and if I don't have something like this made, I love these. This is the Goodies Organics range. They have the whole no junk promise thing. They're organic. They don't have any kind of added sugar or anything like that. These are the carrot cake ones. They can be a bit expensive. Sometimes they're like $3.50 for 6 bars, so I wouldn't buy these every week. I buy these kind of every 2 weeks, and to be honest with you, if he doesn't finish a full bar, I would put it in cling film or in a little sandwich bag like this from IKEA and stick it in the press for the next day, because they are quite pricey, but they're dense and they're quite filling, so sometimes half of a bar is enough for like a snack or as a little breakfast top up or something like that. So there's just 2 ideas for breakfasts when I am rushing out the door, but they're healthy. They both have oats, and yeah, makes me feel like he has something filling to start the day with. So another example of a dinner that we will all eat, which is pretty much 90% of our dinners, is this sausage casserole. So you might think that sausages are unhealthy, but if you get a sausage that is like at least 70% pork, it's actually good quality meat. It's not that bad for your kid. Obviously if you're giving it every single day, it might be the best thing, but about once a week Billy would have sausages in some form or another. This is a really nice recipe. It's actually made with gluten-free sausages, and they just happen to be gluten-free because they're really low on Slim World. They're the Malins pepper and leek sausages. So there's 6 of them in here, which I lightly fried. And then I basically bunged everything into the slow cooker. It's a tin of chopped tomatoes, carrots, peppers, onions, mushrooms, and then a tin of cannellini beans, some smoked paprika, some garlic seasoning, and a stock cube. And I just let it bubble away for like 7 or 8 hours in the slow cooker. And then I take the lid off the slow cooker for the last half an hour, and it thickens up. And I normally serve it with rice, but it's also really yummy with mashed potato. So we're having it with mashed potato tonight, and because we had rice last night with our curry. But yeah, another one pot wonder, really handy, loads of veg, and I kind of mash everything up, and then all the veg gets kind of mixed in with the sausages, and it's really, really tasty. And you could batch cook a massive portion of this. You can see it's reduced a lot, so you could totally make a double batch for like 7 or 8 people, or to have some in the freezer. So that's another dinner that won't involve too much fuss. It should go down really well with everybody, and there's only one thing to clean. Well, 2, but you know, it's minimal.
So that's it. That's an idea of kind of some of the foods that my little man eats. I hope it gave you some ideas or inspired you or something. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Please subscribe to my channel if you want more videos and you want to keep up to date what I'm kind of talking about. And also please subscribe to Channel Mum, because I am a Channel Mum sponsored vlogger, and there's loads of videos about eating. If you're kind of interested in recipes, I would highly recommend My Fussy Eater. Her name is Kira. She's an absolutely amazing blogger and vlogger, and I will leave the link to her channel below, and she's loads of recipes and everything. So I will see you all in my next video. See you.